I'm Jillian.
And we are the hosts of the OK Drama podcast.
We're two friends recap and break down K-dramas one episode at a time.
We are back and we are going to be covering episode 9 of Descendants of the Sun today. I'm still so excited to keep talking about this every week, but we are going to start this episode the way we start every episode by going over the synopsis from Kokowa and Hulu. So the Kokowa synopsis is Shijin heard Moyeon accidentally confess her feelings towards him. In the meantime, Commander Yoon made a surprise visit to Uruk, and Shijin, Moyeon, Daeyoung, and Myungju were summoned to see him. ... The
Hulu synopsis says Moyeon's will gets announced through the speakers. Moyeon tries to avoid Shijin out of embarrassment. However, Shijin never loses track of her. Meanwhile, Lieutenant General Yoon suddenly visits Uruk, making all four of them nervous.
That's pretty tame for a Hulu synopsis.
Yeah. They're both pretty on point with each other, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like normally one of them is just like, what? This is crazy. Or this is just all one scene.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we start the episode with Dr. Daniel and Moyeon testing out the PA system again. They put the music on so the patients can listen, and we basically just get to see shots of patients that we had seen in previous episodes,
Mm-hmm.
I guess healing and listening to the music. They start to look better. Then we hear Moyeon's confession / will, depending on what the subtitles say.
Yeah.
And we get to see everyone's reactions, which are great. So Moyeon starts running, like, hustling to get her phone. And I just love Shijin's face while he's listening to her voice memo, because he looks like he's really taking it all in. Like, he looks thoughtful, a little confused, a little happy, like, all at the same time. And then we see Moyeon run into the room in probably the most awkward fashion. She, like, is running like a fucking football player.
Yeah.
Like, just, like, shoulders out.
Burst through that door.
And she pulls her phone out, just, like, with the cord still on it. Like, fuck this. And then makes really weird eye contact with Shijin. And then runs out again. And I just find it so cringy.
Mm-hmm.
But Shijin's face is everything. Like, he looks pretty amused and kind of, like, pleased with himself.
Yeah, he just has a smile the whole time.
Yeah. And when she makes the eye contact with him, I'm like, no!
Don't look at him!
Don't look at him! Yeah. If it were me, I would be, like, covering my face.
Uh-huh.
Like, I would probably just not even try to go get my phone. I would be like, how the fuck do I get out of here? Like,
yeah, I'm boarding that plane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking my seat back.
Exactly. So, Dr. Daniel and Shijin talk about how music can change things, blah, blah, blah. And then Shijin jumps out of the window, and Dr. Daniel's like, what the fuck? Like, because it's a pretty high window.
Yeah.
It's, like, at least on the second story.
Yeah.
So, Moyeon looks really embarrassed, and she's, I guess, in the dining hall area at this point, and she, like, goes to walk out. And then Shijin surprises her by opening the doors before she can leave. And then they have this really funny exchange about, like, what just happened. Moyeon basically keeps, like, bragging on him, like, you shouldn't use your special forces training to, like, gain advantages. It was rude of him to listen to her message. How it wasn't actually her talking. How it's not actually her phone. And then the final one is, what she's holding isn't actually a phone. I love it. And then she says to herself, like, get it together. What are you saying? Kang Moyeon, stay still. Stop talking. And I really relate, because sometimes I get so flustered that I have to, like, talk myself down.
Absolutely.
But I love how she's, like, digging a deeper hole of denial, like, sentence by sentence.
And talking to herself in front of him.
Uh-huh.
Oh, God.
Like,
girl.
That wasn't me. It's not my phone. This isn't a phone.
This isn't even a phone. What is this?
I love it. So, she kind of calms down, and he tells her that he wants to hear her real feelings and to not run away. Like, they should have a discussion like professional adults.
Yes,
like they
please.
And so she has one last little, like, funny trick where she says, like, what's that over there? And he's like, no, like, let's talk. And she, in a very calm voice, is like, okay, I'll talk. Just, like, let me go. Let's settle down. And then as soon as he lets go, she runs away. And they have, like, a cartoon sound effect.
Yes.
It's so much.
I was cracking up at that scene because it's so ridiculous. Like, where does this sound effect come from?
I know.
It's so silly.
Like, in Strong Woman Dupang Soon, they have, like, it's kind of written almost like a comic book. So they have, like, little, not thought bubbles, but kind of like comic book, I guess, themes, like, throughout. And so sometimes they have those, like, sound effects.
That's funny.
But this one, I'm like, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, they haven't been using stuff like that. They've had silly music, but not sound effects. So that was really interesting.
Yeah.
But I was really excited because it's official that they now both know each other's feelings. And so hopefully something good comes out of that. That's what I was thinking as I was watching. And, like...
Yeah, definitely.
I'm hoping that this brings them to the next level instead of this weird sort of back and forth nonsense.
This was just, like, the catalyst they needed to be on the same page and not be embarrassed or, like...
Even though she's super embarrassed right now.
Yeah, totally.
Wants to die, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Ugh, gosh. We cut to the MVP couple, which is Nurse Ha and Dr. Song, even though they're not actually together either at this point. They're taking a walk together and talking about what just happened. How flowers bloom in wartime and how maybe even relationships can blossom after an earthquake. And Dr. Song says they should try kissing in between working.
Ooh. He's so cute.
He's smooth. He's very, very smooth. Nurse Ha says that he's messing around. He says that after all they've been through, she should realize that they should mess around when they can. And she tells him to shut up. Typical Nurse Ha, right? And then he brings up the Wild Bird folder again. And just like, you remember that folder, right? Well, what I need you to do, right? And she's just like, delete it yourself.
Yeah.
You were disgusting. And she runs away from him. They're so silly.
I know. I feel like they have the best relationship, probably because they're older and like they've known each other for so long, but they're just so comfortable with each other that I like watching them.
Yeah. Also. And they're always in like on the same joke.
Yeah.
Like even though she overreacts or he overreacts for things that they say, like you can tell they're on the same page.
Yeah, exactly.
I appreciate their relationship a lot in the show.
Yeah.
They're nice to see compared to Shijin and Moyan a lot of the times.
Yeah, definitely.
We then see 3 of the Alpha Team soldiers, including Sergeant Choi, which is Snoopy. And they're talking about the message too. So literally everybody has heard this confession. I, again, would fucking die.
Yeah, because
like, it's not just Shijin that heard it. Like, that's one thing, but everybody. And, like, you're a professional.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
Because
oh, my God.
It was broadcast basically all over the whole like, fucking base. And it's one of those things where it's small enough so that basically everyone knows who she is.
Yeah.
But it's not big enough so that she can, like...
hide.
Yeah. But it's also big enough so that it's like, there's a fuck ton of people who heard it. Like, it's right in that happy medium of being, like, the worst possible situation.
And again, professional people, too. People she works with that she's, like, in charge of. Yeah. Oh, God. It's terrible. But anyway, these 3 soldiers are sitting there talking about it. And there was apparently a bet going on at some point. And Sergeant Choi is about to hand over money to one of the younger guys. And he stops and recounts how he doesn't actually like Moyan.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? Why? And he says, well, she's pretty and rich, but you never know when she'll have a change of heart. And if she finds out what we do, then she'll make Shijin transfer to another unit or make him quit the army.
Yeah.
Which seems like kind of shady. Like, what do y'all do? Like, her questioning again, what is it y'all do again?
Yeah, definitely. And I think he's kind of like, oh, I guess his reasoning is like, oh, she's taking pity on him. Or like,
he's not good enough for her. And
like, this is, basically he's just like
a project for her almost.
Right, or like a toy that she can play with for now, but like when push comes to shove, he won't understand like, all the shit he has to go through. Yeah,
after that conversation, he gets up and walks away, and one of the other guys is like, what's Sergeant Choi's wife like? Who's he married to? And the other guy was like, she's very similar to Moyan. Pretty, makes a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But they still don't understand why he's so upset. But I think he kind of just explained it.
Yeah.
With his previous comment that these boys are so clueless.
Yeah.
Then they realize, like, wait, he didn't actually pay us. They start running after him.
Yeah.
I love those little comic relief moments throughout.
Definitely.
Like, it's kind of a serious conversation. Like, you don't like this girl for basically no reason. Like, he doesn't actually know her.
Yeah.
He's just basing it off of what he sees or, like, who she is. Yeah, who she is in terms of her profession and stuff. And I like that they counter that with a funny moment.
Yeah, I think the show is really good at, like, the world building of, I guess, having the, not secondary, but almost, like, tertiary characters. Like, adding the comic relief and just giving them, like, stuff to do that doesn't necessarily, like, move the plot forward, but it's just, like, fun to be around.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then Mo-yeon has to address the medical staff, which so terrible. But she's doing a pretty good job at, like, keeping it together.
Yeah.
So she's trying to get stuff organized, and then Dr. Song comes in and immediately is like, let's organize what just happened here. And, Nurse Ha backs him up and is like, actually, Shijin confessed to Mo-yeon first, if you listen to it. And then Mo-yeon's comeback is great. Quote, as you guys are all smart people, you should talk behind my back and gossip amongst yourself when I'm not around.
I love that. I love that so much.
I know you're going to talk about me, just don't do it in front of me. Like, please. So they keep talking about her relationship, and then she tells them that they should all go back to Korea, which, priceless. So then we cut to Lee Chi-hoon, and he's tending to Kang Min-jae, who is giving him, like, the dirtiest look maybe ever. Like,
still so bitter.
Full of disgust, and I don't know. He's a piece of work. So Lee Chi-hoon tries to take his blood pressure, but then Min-jae asks Dr. Song if he can have a new doctor. And then Dr. Song tells him that Chi-hoon was the one who found him, so he should be his friend. But Min-jae tells him that remembering that time just makes him angry. So then Dr. Song goes back to Chi-hoon, and he's basically backing him up, telling Min-jae that, I guess, being treated by a doctor isn't a drama. He should be thankful for having a doctor and getting treated. But then we see Dr. Song is picking up on Chi-hoon's anxiety and kind of his, like, inner turmoil. And
his little demons.
Yeah, I just feel so bad for Chi-hoon because, I mean, it kind of sucks that everyone was so preoccupied with, like, other people who were actually dying that no one could really help him. But
just telling him, like, can you please just do this? Can you please just suck it up and get it done? Like, he can't. It's sad.
He needs therapy.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, Kang Min-jae is being such a fucking prick.
He should be happy that he's fucking alive and he was found, you know? After all these other people died. Like, yeah, he ran away, but he could have died if he attempted to save you. Or he could have gotten pulled in also and gotten hurt. At least he left and told people he was in there.
Because I was trying to think, like, okay, if I was, like, stuck underground for 3 days, and then I saw someone come who almost saved me, but then, like...
tried his hardest.
Yeah. Like, his hand was out, we were holding hands, but then, like, the fucking building was collapsing again. So he had to run away. Like... And then I did get saved because he's the one who told. I think I would still be thankful. Like, I'd be like...
Yeah. I maybe wouldn't, like, want to hang out with him.
Right, totally.
But I'd be like, I'm saved and I'm pretty well off. Like, I didn't get terribly hurt. I didn't get a fucking, like, piece of concrete or rebar or anything stuck in my side.
Yeah, totally.
He doesn't have it as bad as other people do, so you should definitely be thankful.
I don't know.
Sad. But on a lighter note, I noted that, I don't know how old the actor who plays Dr. Song is, but I noticed seeing him more in scenes, he's actually, like, a pretty good-looking dude. I'm like, you're not bad looking for an older guy.
Yeah.
And I noticed, like, it's probably because he's been dressing better, not just in, like, doctor's uniforms, like we saw in the beginning. It's kind of just boring. And then also, he's funny. I'm like, I like funny people.
Yeah, he's really charming.
Funny and charming humans are good people. Good people to look at. So that's just one little thing I've been noticing watching this show.
You're Dr. Song fangirl.
Yeah. Dr. Song Stan. So we see Dr. Kong. Is that how you pronounce it? Kong?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I feel like I'm stupid trying to pronounce
No,
names.
I think what I'm saying is correct, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. I just always see that A and I want to... Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Kong.
That's what my brain always goes to. Anyway, we see Dr. Kong walking out of the Medicube, and she keeps trying to hide from people, and it's so awkward and embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, soldiers are walking by, and she turns around yawning all dramatically and stretching all huge. The girl, just, look down and walk by them.
Just put on a baseball cap.
You're making it worse.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's so embarrassing.
Totally.
But that keeps happening over and over again, and then she turns around, and Myung-ju is there. And Myung-ju tells her she has guts for thinking about dating a special forces captain. And clearly Mo-yeon is kind of just like, okay. Mm-hmm. And then she asks her, like, can I ask you something? How do you feel about Seo-young's line of work? Like, does that scare you? Are you afraid of him being hurt or not hearing from him or not knowing where he's at a given time? Mm-hmm. And Myung-ju basically just kind of goes over what their job is. Mm-hmm. And she tells her that more than being afraid for him, she's more afraid of not being with him. And she's blinded by love.
Yeah.
And then we cut over to Shijin, who's playing with the rock from the beach. Mm-hmm. Not a pebble.
No,
that fucking rock.
I changed it to rock.
And Myung-ju comes up to him and tells him that he looks miserable. Mm-hmm. And he ends up asking her basically the same question. Like, how do you feel about the situation with what Seo-young does?
Yeah, I'm like, this is so fucking high school.
I know. And Myung-ju is just like, why is everyone being like this with me? Like, what the fuck? And she basically says, like, Mo-yeon just asked me the same thing, and if you want to know what I said, go ask her, like, y'all are adults. Mm-hmm. Why are you talking to me about this? I'm not interested. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like her quote, this isn't an intelligence war, this is a face-to-face war, Captain. And then he kind of is like, you're one to talk, basically, because she, like, never talks to Daeyoung. And then she says, well, I'm always in a hand-to-hand war.
Oh my god.
I love Mo-yeon and Myung-ju's comebacks.
Yeah.
They have some of the best
They
lines.
definitely have, like, a brother-sister vibe.
Yeah.
They're really, really good friends, and they love teasing each other. Mm-hmm. So they're going back and forth about that stupid rock. Mm-hmm. And then Seo-young comes into the picture. And Shijin tells her that he called them both there because they were starting to look chummy. And we basically see that Myung-ju is still pissed off at Seo-young because he rejected her earlier. Mm-hmm. And she says, just go and do roll calls for life then. Seo-young is just standing there. Uh-huh. It's very awkward and uncomfortable, but very funny too. She's good with these one-liners.
Yeah, definitely. So I am totally on her side because she even points out that it's not like she tries to be romantic with him all the time. And, like, it's not like she's trying to make out with him whenever they're free. But they were all alone, and it was a really romantic song playing.
And if anything, like, they're overly professional.
Right.
When they're around each other. You know, like, they don't do anything that would allude to the fact.
Talk to each other.
Yeah, they do nothing that would allude to the fact that they're even interested in each other. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Shijin turns into, like, a middle school boy. And is basically asking, like, if they're talking about sex. And because Myung-ju just keeps saying it, like, we don't even do it, blah, 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 blah. And then Myung-ju's like, no, I just meant hugging and holding hands. Which, y'all don't even fucking, like...
Yeah.
That's weird. And
I don't know if she meant, like, now because of her dad, or, like, the whole time. Because there was that time, like, there's the shots of them, like, at the coffee shop and stuff where they're really chummy and everything. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know, like, if they were, like, really, really dating then.
Oh, right.
And then it stopped because Dad found out. And
he broke them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, they still like each other, obviously, and she knows that. Mm-hmm. But nothing's happening.
I guess that makes sense. But I'm like, you can't even give her a hug.
I know.
Anyway, so then, like, Shijin's like, what the fuck? So then Shijin and Myung-ju proceed to call Daeyoung an idiot. And Myung-ju gives Shijin the rock to throw at Daeyoung. And then she walks away. And Daeyoung jokingly says that he'll fight Shijin, and then Shijin just laughs and walks away too. So then it's the next morning, and the girls, so it's Nurse Ha, Nurse Choi, and Mo-yeon, they are up and they're getting ready and they're watching the shirtless soldiers. I have a hard time saying that every time. Shirtless soldiers do their morning run, and Myungju calls them the white doves of Urk, who symbolize peace. And Nurse Ha does this hilarious, like, cuckoo. I don't know. That just, like, cracked me up, because they're just, I guess, saying, like, oh, the soldiers are back. That means everything's back to normal.
Yeah, everything is good. All is well.
So funny. So then Nurse Choi pranks Mo-yeon by saying hi to Shijin, even though he's, like, not really there. So then Mo-yeon takes off running.
So ridiculous.
And then Nurse Choi asks, like, just kind of thinking out loud, like, how can someone be tricked so easily? And she wonders if they shared more than just a kiss. And then Nurse Ha, like, kind of cuts her off, and Nurse Choi looks kind of scared, like, oh, am I about to get, like, scolded? And then she asks if it's a thing that people can kiss between work. And Nurse Choi's like, what? Like, yes. So then Mo-yeon stops running right in front of the window that Shijin is looking out of, and she turns around and freaks out again, and he kind of, like, lets her know / she realizes that Nurse Choi tricked her. So then she tries to run away by saying that she has a meeting to go to, and Shijin tells her that he'll give her a ride since he's going to the same meeting. So they have more back and forth banter, which I love between them. Like, I just want them to talk and hang out and be romantic. I don't want them to fight because I don't like it when they fight.
Mom, Dad, stop.
I know. So she says that she'll drive herself and that if she gets stuck on another cliff, she'll call him again. And Shijin asks a bit more seriously why she's always running away. He tells her to not be embarrassed and that he likes her even more now and that she looks pretty, all these, like, pretty romantic things. And at this point, she's trying really hard to, like, not look smitten with him. So they agree to meet at the front in 10 minutes, and then we get a cute little, like, Daeyoung Myungju moment where, like, so after Mo-yeon and Shijin agree to meet, they, like, close the shutters, and then we see Myungju and Daeyoung open the shutters at the same time, and they, like, see each other, and then Myungju slams the shutters closed and walks away all pissy. So.
Still mad.
She can hold a grudge.
I like her. We cut to some soldier boys getting acupuncture by Yehua.
I think so. Yehua, yeah.
And Kim Ki-bum is studying for the GED, and there's a little bit of back and forth between them, where Yehua is, where they're asking, like, where is she from or whatever, because her accent sounds kind of different from theirs. Sounds unusual. And she says that she's from, I'm not sure how to pronounce this.
I think she says she's Koryo.
Koryo.
Which is, like,
Korean Russian. And Koryo brings us to our say what moment.
What you say? Well, I'm just asking. Say what? Come on.
So, Kim Ki-bum is a little ditzy boy, and he hears Koryo instead of Koryo, which I think they are basically the same word, but, like, two separate meanings. So, Koryo was a kingdom established in 918 by King Taejo, and this kingdom later gave way to the modern word Korea. So, essentially, Koryo is, like, the very, very old word for Korea.
Okay.
I guess, like, a similarity that I Googled would be, like, Newfoundland, which is now Canada. So it's basically the same, just, like, the previous name. But I think the Koryo kingdom, I guess, was from 918 to 1392. So the the founder of the Joseon, Yi Sung-gi, took over, and they had the Joseon period of the Korean peninsula. Okay. So it was a really dumb joke because he's like, "You're from the Goryeo?" Like,
yeah,
it's really dumb.
And he made a comment like, "I didn't know people from then were still alive."
Yeah, like a century ago.
And everyone just kind of...
Not a century, like 1,000 years ago.
Everyone just kind of staring at him like, what?
Yeah. He's a little dummy.
It's adorable. He's learning. He's learning. So then we see Moyeon and Shijin writing back from that UN meeting. And they talk about how the meeting went and how Shijin is good at lightening the mood. And then he starts asking her, how many boyfriends have you had before? Which I always think is just such a terrible question to ask someone.
I know.
Like, how many people have you dated before? Like, who cares? It's a very uncomfortable situation. But she doesn't really answer him and basically says, like, why do all guys ask that? Mm-hmm. And then, out of nowhere, the Jeep runs over a mine, and it's really intense, and you hear Moyeon screaming. Mm-hmm. But Shijin's incredible, and he kind of just, like, swerves and takes control of the situation and gets them out safely.
Yes.
As usual, he's very good at that.
I know. So, my dad is deployed right now, and in his free time, he's been watching Descendants of the Sun, because I forced him. I know. And, because my dad is also a surgeon who's in the army, so I thought, this might appeal to you. But he said that he thinks Shijin is a badass.
He is.
So my dad also clarified something for me. So in the Korean army, there are like 2 separate tracks. Mm-hmm. So we talked about how like everyone is required, or all the men are required to be in the army. And then there's the Republic of Korea army, which is the people who are like, want to be soldiers.
Gotcha.
Like
okay.
So the people like Lee Chi-hoon, who are going just to get their service
do their thing
out of the way, they wouldn't really be interacting with people like Shijin.
Or in that situation.
Yeah, I guess they're kept separate. So not actual soldiers, but you know what I mean. So he clarified that for me as well. And he said that one of his friends was stationed in Korea for a while. And he said that all the guys are really small, but they're fucking scary. So,
alright.
There's that. I guess they are little chiquitos.
Chiquitos, yeah. Shijin especially. I don't feel that way about Sara-young. He seems like he should be big boss.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And
must be an ironic thing.
I know. Oh, also my dad calls Shijin Big Boss. He said like, Big Boss is badass.
That's funny.
I know.
It's funny. I need to get my dad to start watching again. So we watch like the first 20 minutes or so and then we get to leave. And I need to tell him like, hey, it's on Hulu. You can watch it, no excuse. Just turn that subtitle on.
I know. I want to hear your dad's thoughts.
Yeah, my dad, I know, would definitely get into it, especially all the action scenes. Mm-hmm. That's his thing. But he also like loves, again, soap operas, so I think he would...
It's like perfect for him.
Yeah, I think he would watch like any K-drama and love it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll get him to watch
it.
Next time I talk to him. But anyway, so basically what happened was the earthquake shifted the landmines around, and so now they're kind of just all over the place, mixed up, and their car is stuck. Shijin leads her out step by step, and he just happens to have these flags that say mine. Mm-hmm. I guess they maybe just have them in the car at all times in case something happens, or they see one. But they have funny back and forth banter as usual. Mm-hmm. And he tells Moyeon that everything's going to be fine. You just stand behind me, follow me, and you can admire my sexy backside while we take our time getting through the minefield. Which is really funny because, again, he's all chiquito, so he's probably got, like, the world's littlest butt.
He killed butt?
Yeah, he killed butt. But not with the big belly, you know? And it turns into, like, this little montage of them, like, walking, and she's helping him, and she's putting the little flags down and stuff.
It's really cute.
It's cute, and it's also, like, a weird romantic scene, because it's like something you would see in an American thing, but then it's also, like, this romantic scene is them marking mines.
Yeah, it's, like, also
so
really
strange. Yeah. But it, like, there's sweet music playing, and it's just, like, quiet. They're just being cute together. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Of course, they end up making it out alive. Everything's fine. And Shijin tells her that she did really well, but he wants to be in a melodrama with her. I think in mine it said a romantic with her, like a romantic comedy.
Oh, that makes more sense.
He said, I want to be in a romance with you, I think. Or a romantic movie. It was some sort of subtitle like that. But that it always turns into a blockbuster, which is also what mine said.
Yeah, I liked that line.
Yeah.
I thought it was clever.
And then he says something like, and now I think we should, I forgot what he said was messed up. Like, the car is messed up now. Maybe we should mess up your lipstick too.
Oh, yeah.
And she's kind of just looking at him. But then the next scene, like, flips over to him using her lipstick to make a sign saying, like, there's mines, be careful, don't enter.
Yeah. So, side note, that lipstick was apparently super popular around the time of this drama. It's from the brand Laneige. And I guess up until, like, fairly recently, that was always sold out because she, that lipstick was used in this drama. So,
yeah, I noticed her placement as she was drawing the little skull, and it's like a perfect lipstick. Like, it would not have been the lipstick he used to write that other stuff with.
Yeah, that lipstick was cool because it was two-toned. So, I think the one that she has there is, like, red and yellow, so it kind of gives you, like, the gradient lip effect,
okay.
But it kind of, like, blends together to be, like, a corally red. So, but yeah, I saw a video about it, and, like, basically all of the products that were, like, featured in Descendants of the Sun were, like, flying off the shelves.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Nice. That's cool.
So, they start walking back to base, and Mo-yeon starts getting kind of testy again.
Of course.
Classic. And Shijin asks her if she wants to hold hands while they walk to pass the time, which, so cute. He's so cute. Like, I don't know. He's just so romantic, and she freaks out and is like, no way, dude. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
But whatever. So then Shijin goes on to ask why she won't hold hands with the guy she put in her will, and she keeps insisting that it wasn't her, which, come on, like,
so
why
ridiculous.
are you keeping this up?
Yeah.
You guys clearly like each other, like, what the fuck?
And he already admitted to it before you, so, like,
Yeah,
you
like
have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
You have nothing to worry about. He's not rejecting you.
I know.
Like, just give in.
I
So
know.
ridiculous.
So Shijin comes back with this line, quote, "Are you normally this different before dying and after surviving?" He, like, totally clocks her. So then Mo-yeon changes the subject and asks how many women Shijin has dated. And they have, like, more funny back and forth banter, like, oh, why do women always ask that? Like, they're never satisfied. They'll get mad if I don't say anything, or they'll get jealous if I say whatever. And then he's like, oh, so basically he tells her, like, he can't win. And I think it's, like, so funny because she's, like, kind of pushing his buttons.
Yeah.
And then they see a truck, and he's like, oh, a truck. And she was like, oh, that's how many women?
A truckload?
That truckload?
So ridiculous. I think it's so interesting how she's still fighting this. Like, I can't get over that.
I know.
It's wild.
I don't understand because, like, they clearly have chemistry together. There's no real issue, like, I guess
they're together. They're not separated.
There's no external force. Like, it's not like their families hate each other. It's not like it's a forbidden love. It's just that, like, she doesn't like his job.
Yeah.
And clearly, like, she's gotten to experience part of his job and, like,
She understands it, yeah.
a little bit more. But I'm like, even if, like, you don't have to marry the guy. Like, just have some fun with him.
Spend some time with him,
Hold
see where it
hands.
goes.
Yeah.
Come on.
Y'all are so beautiful. Like, be beautiful together.
Y'all are both professionals. Like, y'all are in a good place. Like, try it out. Try it out. Come on. You might like it.
I know.
Come on.
So, then we see... Okay, so basically, after the first truck, like, they try to flag it down, but it just drives by them. And then, they see another truck driving by, and Shijin, like, jokingly pulls out his gun, which is one of my favorite parts of the episode. Because he, like, cocks it, or what, I don't know gun terminology, but he does something. And then he asks if he should take it away from the driver, and Mo-yeon tells him, like, no, stop, stay put. And she's like, I'll take care of it. And she tries to be, like, all cute, like, hey, over here. And then the driver, like, drives by them again. And then Mo-yeon turns back to Shijin and says, like, that was a good idea. I think you should go take it. So, anyway, they're really funny. But the truck driver, like, eventually stops, and he lets them ride in the back, which I love that this, like, presumably Greek actor just had to, like, stick his arm at the window and, like, wave his arm. I don't know. Great. So they are riding in the back with a bunch of, like, hay, I guess, right? It was like straw.
Yeah.
I don't know the difference between straw and hay, but
I don't know. Are they the same thing?
I've never thought about it until, like, this very second. So.
I think they might be the same thing. Okay. Just maybe a different name.
Clearly, I don't spend a lot of time around straw or hay.
Or hay. You're not a farm girl.
No. So they joke around a bit more while they're sitting in the back. They talk about Mo-yeon's mood swings and then dating, and then they get to talking about their conversations with Myungju. So Shijin asks Mo-yeon if she's leaving with the first crew back to Korea, and then she tells him that she's staying because she wants to be with him a little longer. And then they kiss! So beautiful. For realsies this time.
Yeah, and I really like that moment because while she's saying those things to him, she's kind of smiling. Trying to, like, hold back a smile, but she can't. And she's kind of just telling him, like, no, like, I want to stay because of you. And I like you, and I'm telling you my feelings in person. And it's just a really cute moment. And it almost looks like they're fucking magnets.
I know.
They just, like, connect. It's so weird.
I know. It's not like a slow thing.
No.
I think they're both like, okay, fuck it. Like,
yeah.
let's do it.
Like, the camera pans out to show both of them, and it's just...
Yeah.
It's so wild.
I think that's a weird stuff, but I said this is the perfect use of the You Are My Everything song.
Yes, absolutely.
It's glorious. So, also, like, the scenery is so beautiful that they're driving through. It's, like, so picturesque. And then we get a shot of the dude driving the truck, which... Okay.
They just forgot someone was driving and can see them making out in his rearview mirror. And he's either like, why did I pick these people up? Or, oh, okay, I guess I have a show now. He's just like looking through that mirror.
So awkward.
God.
So then they get back to base, and you can see their backsides are covered in hay, which I wanted to have a conversation about this, because do you think this means, like, they were literally, like, rolling in the hay? Like, making out? Or do you think, like, just from sitting in the truck, they got hay on the back? So they were probably making out for, like, a little bit, but, like...
I would say they'd have to be laying down. Okay. They'd have to be rolling.
That's kind of what I thought,
because it's, like, on their heads, too.
Yeah.
It's, like, all on the top half of them.
Because I was thinking, like... I mean, I don't think, like, they had sex in the back of a moving truck with hay. But I just always wondered, like, are we supposed to insinuate, like... I don't know. How much are we supposed to insinuate?
How much hay do you get on you from making out sitting up versus laying down?
Exactly. We need to have another Mythbuster. So then Nurse Ha and Dr. Song see them because they, like, walk into the dining area, and Nurse Ha and Dr. Song are kind of, like, in the shadows, almost. And, they kind of are, like, commenting on each person. So Nurse Ha says, I'd be really embarrassed for her. And then he says, he must have been really happy earlier. And he's looking, like, pretty pleased. And then she says, I wish I could go wash it off for her. And then he says, I wish I could go hit him. And then Nurse Ha, like, looks at Dr. Song and she says, like, I wish I could hit you.
And then walks off.
I know. But...
Too good.
So cute.
Yeah. Then we cut from, like, super funny, cute, romantic to, like, holy shit. Because we cut to Jin Young-soo, which is Richard. And he's at what appears to be the site the, like, rubble site.
Yeah.
There's, like, caution signs everywhere and stuff. And August and his whole gang come out in their cars. They basically ambush him, and he's circled. Mm-hmm. And Young-soo is pleading for his life while August keeps threatening him. And he looks really pissed off, really frightening.
Yeah,
with
he's
them
like really
wrinkles.
scary. Yeah. Those fucking wrinkles.
Now I can't unsee them now that you mentioned it last time. Sorry to whoever that actor is.
I mean.
But yeah, so he looks really mean.
Mm-hmm.
And he's basically telling Young-soo to just do what he says.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, what do you want him to do? He hasn't really gone into that yet. We don't know what that is. But in English, Richard is saying, like, sure, yeah, no problem, yes. And he looks so terrified. And I noted that actor is very good at looking freaked the fuck out. Because his eyes are, like, red and watery. They're wide. And he's, like, shaking. And he's, like, cowering like a scared puppy.
Yeah, I loved his English. Because he's, like, in English, his tone is trying to be, like, really cool. Mm-hmm. Sure, yeah, no problem. Yeah. But he is, like, clearly freaking the fuck out. Because he has a gun, like, on his head.
On his head, yep.
Yeah.
Then we see August's gang back at the lair. Because basically what happened was they want those diamonds. They want the jewels and stuff. And he's saying, like, I found them. I just found them. And I can't get them out of the safe. The safe broke in the rubble. And, like, you take it with you. Like, they're in here. Mm-hmm. And so they take it. He scares him. He's frightened or whatever. And they go back to the lair. And finally his dudes open the safe. And they're like, there's no diamonds. You fucking lied. We've been duped. And then at that moment, I was thinking, like, oh, did that young worker steal them?
Oh, yeah.
When he was asleep or, like, he was laying down at that...
Being a sleepy monster.
Yeah, being a sleepy monster. And he saw Young-soo, like, messing with the safe. Mm-hmm. That was my guess at first. Was like, oh, shit, I hope he didn't steal them. Because then he's really going to be dead.
Yeah, totally.
But they're kind of, like, freaking out about where is he going to be now. We got to find this guy and get him for fucking us over. Mm-hmm. We cut to Young-soo at the Medicube. And he's complaining to Nurse Ha and then Young-ju about his condition. And he asks to be put on a flight to Seoul so he can go get an MRI. And he's saying, like, I have pain here and here, this and that. I need help, blah, blah, blah.
He's talking about, like, how the after effects can be, like, worse because it's, like, all starting to set in.
Almost like a car accident is basically, like, what he's...
Like whiplash.
Yeah. And so they're not really buying it. They're kind of just like, dude, like... you have to get out of here. And he starts getting really upset. And obviously, you know, he's terrified. Mm-hmm. And he's being really mean to Myung-ju, which is insane because she's in uniform and everything. Yeah. And he, like, holds his hand up like he's going to hit her or something.
Yeah. Oh, because I think she says, like, did you really come here to book a plane ticket? Or, like, this isn't a travel agency.
Yeah, she's so badass. Mm-hmm. But he has his hand up. He looks like he's about to hit her or do something ridiculous. And then, out of nowhere, Seo-young comes up and pulls him out, saves the day, and Myung-ju kind of looks like, oh, my hero. Like, oh my goodness. But he throws him outside, and he tells him that if he wants to be a patient, he can arrange that. And put him in ICU for the rest of his life. Dang. Yeah, and he, like, knocks him down really hard, and he's like, do you want your leg broken? Because I can do that for you. Do you want this fucked up? I can do that for you. Yeah. And he's just, like, poking him and hitting him everywhere. And again, this poor guy looks terrible. Terrified about everything. And he's just saying, like, no, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean to. I don't know what to do. And then out of nowhere, poor little Lee Chi-hoon appears. And he's just like, do you need a seat?
Oh, God. Yeah.
And Richard is just like, huh? Mm-hmm. He's basically telling him, like, you can have my seat. I'm like, boy, go home.
I know.
Go to your mom.
Go to your mom. Go to your, like,
your mom
wife.
That could probably, like, afford to get you a good therapist or something. You need something. Mm-hmm. So sad. Then we see, like, a flashback as to why Jin Young-soon is trying so hard to flee the country. Mm-hmm. And it's not because he's just scared about, like, what's going to happen next, but it's because... he actually stole the diamonds. He knew they weren't in there. It wasn't the worker who stole them. He stole them, and he swallowed them.
I said, he didn't even put them in a balloon or a condom or anything.
A thing.
He just swallowed them.
I was thinking, like, I wonder how that felt going down his throat, because it looked like he took them all down at once.
Know.
Like,
dry
cutting your throat and your stomach, like, these hard diamonds against your body.
No, because I know, like, people, like, swallow shit, but based on other movies I've seen, like, don't they usually put them, like, in balloons or condoms
in
or
a something, so that way, one, like, I would think they're easier going down.
Yeah, and then you can poop them out.
And two, so you don't have to actually dig through your shit.
Yeah.
Then you just get some gloves on, pull a balloon out, wash that out, and your diamonds or whatever it is that you're stealing or concealing is, like, clean.
Yeah.
Because now you just have shitty diamonds. It's fucking gross.
I know. God. Come on, Richard.
I think he'd know better, right?
I know, he's clearly not cut out to be a fucking gang, like, smuggler person, but...
Just cut out to be an asshole. That's it.
Pretty much. So, then it's the next day, and the bus carrying the people going back to Korea is ready to leave, but Lee Ji-hoon is nowhere in sight, so they decide to leave without him, but, Jin Young-soo is on the bus in his stead, and he's looking pretty nervous. He just has, like, a backpack that he's
right
holding.
in front of him. He's, like, hiding behind it.
So, like I said, they leave without him, but Mo-yeon, Nurse Ha, Dr. Song, and Nurse Choi all comment about how strange Lee Ji-hoon has been acting lately. And I love Nurse Choi's comment, quote, "He's been wearing the same shoes for 3 days straight, and he's not color coordinating his outfit."
I think it's interesting how they don't seem to really understand what's wrong with him, you know? Like, they don't seem to understand, like, the gravity, I guess, about, like, how big of an issue it is. You know, like...
Yeah, I guess, like, part of the reason maybe is because, like we said earlier, there was just so much stuff going on. So this is, like, maybe day 2 of, like, going back to your normal life, kind of. And
right now for them, it's just he's acting strange. Not he's, like, incredibly depressed and can't...
Like, despondent.
Yeah, he can't hold his shit together, like...
Yeah, and, like, he seems to be pretty good at hiding. So maybe he's just, like...
hiding in a corner somewhere and crying.
Yeah.
God.
Poor sweet boy. So, Dr. Song finds Ji-hoon after the bus has left, and he teases Ji-hoon about not wanting to go home because Dr. Jang... which is Ji-hoon's fiance, has probably gained a lot of weight during her pregnancy, and he probably doesn't want to see her like that during the honeymoon phase of their relationship. But Urk is too far away to be hiding from her. He should at least hide from her in Korea. And Ji-hoon agrees. He says it is too far, but he feels like if he runs away from his problems, then he isn't fit to be a doctor. Which, I'm like... Getting help you need and going back to your family isn't running away. It's, like, I feel like you're running away by not, like, confronting your mental health issues. Like, you're just wallowing here. Anyway, that's besides the point. So then Dr. Song asks if something is going on with Kang Min-jae and that he may be able to help. But Ji-hoon doesn't want his help. He says he feels like getting help is just as bad as running away. He wants to deal with that on his own, and if he can't figure it out later, he'll ask for help. And I'm like, it's not helping! Like, I feel like as a doctor, you should be aware of certain, like, mental health issues, but I also kind of feel like mental health, I guess, awareness or open dialogue about it isn't, like, super big in Korea.
Yeah, that was going to be my question, is how much is that sort of thing promoted?
I think, based on my limited knowledge, that it's kind of becoming more popular as of late. I guess, like, not as big as it is in the U.S. But, like, people can go to counselors. And I've seen, like, in the dramas, like, if someone's been raped or something, like, they say, like, you need to go to a counselor. But I think it's one of those things where for them... like, quote unquote normal people who like don't have some sort of traumatic experience, like, I don't think a lot of people go to see, like, a therapist to, like, talk about their childhood and stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure some people do, but it's just, like, not as
common.
big of a thing.
Yeah.
Not as common. So, I guess maybe he feels like he didn't go through a traumatic experience. So, I don't know.
And maybe for him also, like, somebody that comes from money, maybe he feels like it would be embarrassing.
Yeah.
Or, like, bringing shame to the family or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea.
But I'm like, this actor is so good at looking like just tortured.
Like, absolutely.
From within. It's so hard to watch.
Another scene that's hard to watch.
Yeah.
We have Jin Young-soo at the airport, ready to go. But then he sees August's men, and he freaks out and hides. And he ends up not getting on the plane. So he's hiding in the corner, and he's, like, waiting for them to leave. And then a woman that works there is like, "Sir, do you need help?" And he's like, no, please go. Leave. Shh.
Yeah.
It's, like, really intense. Like, I'd be like, what the fuck? Security.
I know. Like, we have a suspicious man.
I don't know what his deal is.
Behind a column.
Pull him out, please. August's guys go back to him, and they tell him basically, like, we were there, but he didn't show. And so we think he kind of caught sight of us or thought we were going to be there and didn't show up or whatever. And then August is basically just saying, like, keep looking for him. He's going to do anything he can to get out of here, and I'm going to tear him to pieces when I see him next. And it's just, like, this super, like, I don't know, stereotypical crime boss guy, like, villain who's just like, I'm going to fucking kill him.
I know, it's kind of creepy. And I noticed, like, so he's looking at this fish tank, which I feel like is another, like, kind of villainy trope. Like, I feel like a lot of villains have, like, these fish tanks or shark tanks or something. Some
sort of a thing, like a pet of some sort.
Yeah, but I said they're like goldfish. So it's not that impressive. It's not like these...
They're not like piranhas or something?
Yeah, piranhas. Or even like, fucking like tropical fish. So it's like a really pretty aquarium to like show off money or whatever. Like, it looks like a fucking tank from PetSmart. Just full of goldfish, right?
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I don't know. I just think it's kind of funny.
Maybe it brings him back to his childhood.
Maybe.
Goldfish. He tells the gang to prepare a rose instead of a gun for their next delivery. And then we see a young girl brushing her hair. And I noted that these look like the same metal sucking children or friends of theirs that we saw earlier. But it was just a weird scene, like, prepare the rose instead of the gun. And then we cut to this girl, and she's just looking very somber, brushing her hair. It's really unusual. And then the music is really intense, and we see Shijin looking down a sight of a gun. And we're like, oh shit, what's happening? And some music's playing, and then suddenly everything changes and it's very romantic, and he's just being a creep watching Moyeon through the scope of the gun.
Yeah.
Which is fucking weird to me.
I know. Okay, also because he has, like, the little laser...
Yeah.
What do you call that? Like a sight? I don't know.
Yeah, his little, like, laser sight.
Yeah, it's, like, on her forehead.
And it looks like he's drawing hearts with it.
Oh, I didn't notice.
I noticed, like, curves. I was like, I think there may be supposed to be hearts, but, like, it's hard to do from far away, you know? But I'm just like, that's fucking creepy, like...
I know.
Like,
reel it in, Shijin.
Like, y'all have already, like, rolled around in the hay. Go downstairs and talk to her, because she's just standing there washing her face, you know? Like, it's just weird. And I don't know. I don't think I want anyone pointing a gun at me, even if it's probably not loaded.
Yeah.
Even if I like you. Like, I don't really want you to point a gun at my head.
I know.
That's weird.
It is weird.
But while he's doing that, Saryang comes in out of nowhere, and he asks if he's trying to get a headshot on the target. And Shijin replies, no, a heart shot. The target is so pretty. And then he, like, realizes who just asked him a question and what the fuck he just said. And he gets really embarrassed. And then Saryang says that the firearm check looks good. And Shijin replies that his firearm is good too. And Saryang is like, the firearm looks good, but the shooter appears to be abnormal. And I 100% agree with that statement. It's fucking weird.
I know. I love that Jaeyoung and Shijin kind of keep each other in check. Like, I think it's like Jaeyoung said in a previous episode, the two of them being a set is what makes it special.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then they get a call from, I believe it's Harry Potter, saying that Yellow Tiger, aka Myungju's dad, is going to be visiting the base. So then, I believe it's the next day, and Shijin addresses the troops with his classic charm, and he's like, we're not going to make a big fuss about the general coming. We're going to clean like we always clean. Wink, wink. So the soldiers are cleaning up with, like, action-y music behind them.
Yeah, it's that, like, Tekken music.
And then Shijin looks, like, pretty pleased with himself. Like,
and everything's sped up, too, so it looks really silly and comical. Like, Shijin just walking, but he's walking really fast. Looks so stupid.
Yeah. It's, like, cartoony.
Yeah.
It's funny. So then, Sergeant Choi, aka Snoopy, comes by, and he's like, so the visit to the base has been canceled. And Shijin's reaction is so me when I, like, clean hardcore to impress company that, like, doesn't end up coming. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
why did I do that for?
Pretty much, because I'm, like, a trash monster. But, instead of visiting the base, Shijin, Moyeon, Daeyoung, and Myungju have been ordered to go to the headquarters to meet him there. So then we cut to a bunch of soldiers waiting for the general at the airport, and Myungju is looking nervous. Daeyoung tells her not to worry about him. Moyeon looks super out of place because she's the only, like, civilian there. And Moyeon asks Shijin how to address the general. And Shijin's response... Oh, no, she asks, like, do I just say, like, Myungju's dad? Which, okay. And then Shijin...
You'd think she would have a better idea.
I know. Like,
a professional doctor. Who deals with, like, VIP patients all the time.
Also because, like, in the US, you could just call them, like, I don't know, like, fucking General
Yeah.
What's her last name? Yoon. Like, General Yoon. Like, civilians address people... Like, she calls Shijin Captain all the time. Like, come on, Leon. So then Shijin's response is Soldier Ajushi, which is basically, like, Mr. Soldier. with, So then the brown noser commander, who is, like, originally mean to Shijin, is, like, super pumped to be there. Like,
he's ready.
I know. Like, this is the most excited he's been the whole time. So then the general comes out of the plane, and the commander tells him to salute. And then Moyeon puts her hand on her heart, which is, like, super cute and cringy.
And Shijin's, like, standing slightly behind her, just looking at her. And trying not to laugh, but she looks so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And then Moyeon is like, I shouldn't have done that. And, like, she can kind of pick up on how awkward it is, so she tries to, like, play it off.
Like she's rubbing her neck or something. God.
Yeah, which is totally something I would do.
Same.
But these are the types of situations that give me anxiety. Like, okay, so I'm gonna go to the airport, and, like, what do I do when this happens? Like, how do I act here? Like, I need to know protocol.
You need to think about it in your head, play it over a couple times.
Yeah, because I can't deal with these, like, super embarrassing moments. But anyway, it's fine. She didn't love her, so it's okay. So Myungju's dad, like, all of the soldiers are kind of walking, I guess taking a tour, I don't know, of the headquarters, and then Myungju's dad asks another soldier guy to use his office for personal reasons, because he needs to speak to Shijin, Moyeon, Daeyoung, and Myungju. And they all look pretty nervous. So they get pulled into an office, and the general starts with Moyeon, and he basically just compliments her a bunch.
I'm gonna cut in real quick, because the first thing he tells them is, like, go ahead and grab a chair. And Moyeon is like, thanks! And she's already, like, going back to pull the chair, and the other ones are just standing there at attention, and she realizes it, and she's like, oh.
I know, like,
okay. It's so funny. Oh my god.
I was watching that, and I was like, is it a thing for them to be like, no, I don't need to sit?
Like they wanted, I don't know. Like, they're not allowed to, even though he gave them permission, technically.
Yeah.
And even though it's for personal matters, so technically, like, it's not, like, a soldier general thing. It's, like, a father-daughter friends thing.
Yeah.
Almost, you know, it's a weird situation.
I know, but yeah, Moyeon is so funny, like, okay. So they're all, like, lined up in front of the desk he's sitting behind. Which I always think it's weird when people sit behind a desk to, like, give themselves more authority, even though it's not their desk.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you see that a lot in TV shows.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I would never fucking do that. Like...
I'll say, on Curb Your Enthusiasm, which you'd probably like this episode a lot. There's actually a couple of episodes. I think it's on the final season. It's got the guy that wrote Hamilton.
Oh, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah. And he's gonna make a play for production for, why can't I think of his name? Larry David.
Uh-huh.
And they're at the office, and he keeps sitting behind the desk, I think. I think it's behind the desk.
Okay.
And Larry David is like, I don't like his ideas. This is my play. Like, this is my thing. But he's sitting behind the desk, so, like, he's got the authority, and this, I can't do this. I need to be there. And he keeps trying every time they meet to get to that position, and he can never get there. It's so ridiculous. You would definitely love those episodes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
So, Myungju's dad took authority behind the desk. And so he starts with Moyeon, and he says that she should have become a soldier because she has many accomplishments, and she would have done well with her high spirit. And she's like, yeah, but I like to sleep in.
She always has those cute responses.
I know.
Like with the VIP president guy also, like, asking me if two.
Yeah.
Like, she's just really cute when she's around people like that.
Mm-hmm.
Very charming.
Yeah. Because she almost doesn't seem, like, nervous to be around people of authority. I guess maybe dealing with all those VIP patients. So he laughs and responds, that must be why she's so pretty. And then she looks at Shijin, and they both look pretty happy. And kind of goofy. But, like, Shijin's trying to, like, keep, like, a stone face, but he still kind of, like, conveys his happiness, I guess. So he thanks her and tells her she can leave. And then she, like, pokes Shijin and is like, I'm leaving. Okay. And he has to, like, maintain his, like, soldier stance or whatever.
I just love that whole scene with her.
I know.
She's so adorable. Like, all the movements that this actress is doing, and, like, the quirkiness in her voice and how excited and cute she is, and then poking him and just like, okay, like, I did good, I'm gonna leave now. And she's so silly. It's such a great moment.
So then we have the remaining three, and Myungju's dad starts with Shijin, and he asks him if he is his friend or foe, which is, like, really intense. And Shijin is like, what the fuck? Like, he looks super taken aback by being, like, faced with this question. And then Myungju's dad asks him straight up if he really has no romantic interest in his daughter, which is super awkward because she's standing right there. And I think Myungju is like, Dad, like, stop.
What is this?
Yeah, so Shijin tells him that he cherishes Myungju as his junior, but he never thinks of her as a woman, and the general dismisses him. So then Shijin finds Moyeon, and he tells her that he's been dismissed. And she's like, you've been fired? And he's like, no, from being a potential son-in-law. And they look super cute together. And he's like, the love triangle is done with. Like, and he asks her if she'll be okay with him having a past.
And it's so silly because they keep saying love triangle, but it's not really a love triangle. No. It's just dad being a fucking annoying dad. Like.
So then we cut back and we see Jaeyoung and Myungju, and the general asks them both if they still like each other, and they both say yes. And Myungju's kind of like, she keeps cutting in as like, Dad, like, be chill, don't do this.
Stop doing this.
And Jaeyoung tells the dad that he's decided that he won't give up on Myungju. And then the general asks if he thinks he's qualified enough to hold Myungju's hand, which, burn. And Jaeyoung replies that he'll go wherever the general transfers him without making a fuss, but he'll always be holding Myungju's hand. So cute.
Yeah, very sweet.
So then the general tells Myungju to leave, despite her like being like, "No, I want to be here because I want to hear what you have to say." And but she leaves because Daeun tells her to not worry about him. And then we see the general telling Daeun that it seems that he's failed to be both a good father and a good general, as he's been unfair to Daeun and he has lost the respect of his daughter. So then he goes on to say that he can date Myungju and that he approves of the marriage. Like, along with that, Daeun is like, "Are you serious? Like, are you being sincere right now?" And the general says he is, but in order to be with Myungju, he has to be good enough to be with her. So he has to quit the army, and he needs to take a job at the family company so that his status can be at Myungju's level, which is like so fucked up. Because like on a few levels, like it's not like you're a fucking king, you know what I mean? It's not like you're fucking Meghan Markle or like some shit. Like you're just an army general. But also, like, as an army general, don't you want like the best people to stay in the army? Like, and clearly he thinks of Daeun as being like a good soldier.
Yeah, completely competent and more.
Yeah, because he wanted him to fly back to Earth during the earthquake, and he's like training new Alpha Team guys.
Yeah.
So I feel like again he's failing on all accounts.
Yeah.
So.
And also like, yeah, it's good that he's coming around to them being together and dating and whatever else. But on the other hand, like Saryang has worked so hard to be where he's at in that position and to have the career that he has, and it's really shitty to make him choose between the two.
Yeah.
And then also, like, does her dad have a problem with her being in the army?
I don't think so.
Like, how is Saryang not on the same level as Myungju?
Yeah.
I don't quite understand
I think
that
positioning.
positioning.
Because it kind of seems like maybe Daeun has like maxed out how high he can get.
And she hasn't yet?
Yeah, because I think she's already a rank above him.
Okay.
But it kind of seems like, you know, like Myungju went to medical school. She's a doctor, and like Shijin went to like military academies. And, like, basically got his degree in army. So, it kind of seems like maybe if you have like more education, you can be like go up the ranks. But maybe since Daeun like didn't go to college, he's kind of like maxed out at.
He's still seen as lesser than because of his non-college experience. Yeah, as opposed to just like everything else he's done.
And probably he doesn't have a great family life.
Yeah,
he's like in a gang and stuff. So.
Yeah, it's interesting, but very fucked up because, again, he was in a gang. He most likely did have a fucked up family, but he turned all of that around and has become, like, a very important role in the army and is on the Alpha team, like... Yeah. I don't know. It's wild. A-team. Yeah, he's on the A-team.
He's varsity. He's varsity army.
But either way, it's exciting because they get to be together.
Totally.
So that's really... That makes me happy.
Yes.
We cut to Shijin and Moyan. They're getting gas, and I clocked that Shell product placement. Like, they're in a fucking, like, shitty-ass station. It looks like rubble everywhere, and then you just see the Shell sign.
Yeah, like, in pristine condition.
Yes! It's ridiculous. But, Moyan is looking very serious. God.
As usual.
Yep. And she tells him that she's just thinking, why Shijin never wanted to date Myungju? Because she seems to have it all. Yeah. She's a doctor.
Good body.
She's this, she's that. Like, no matter how you look at it, she just doesn't have any flaws. And Shijin is just like, well, is everybody supposed to date people who are pretty and come from a good background? And she basically just trapped him and was like, oh, so you think she's pretty? I never said she was pretty. And it turns into like this whole ridiculous jealousy thing.
It reminds me of Mean Girls.
It's so...
Have you seen, or do you remember that?
I haven't seen it in a very long time.
So like when Regina George is like, oh, so you think you're pretty? You agree.
Yes, that line, yep. God, it's ridiculous. It's like, why do you want to fight with him?
Mm-hmm.
Like, things are going so well.
I know. But
You already heard about what the dad said.
yeah. So basically they're like talking about her being jealous, and he tells her to come pump the gas. So she goes over there, and then he comes up behind her, and he kisses her, which super cute.
Mm-hmm.
And she asks what he's doing, and he says, "I was covering up your mouth, but in a sexy way." So again, like, pretty misogynistic and kind of fucked up, but he's so charming. Like, I can't deal. And they keep kissing, which is cute. But Moyeon still looks a little grumpy.
Yeah, as usual.
Mm-hmm.
He goes in to pay, and then as he's walking in, this little boy comes running out, and the guy at the shop is like, "Stop him! Stop that thief!"
Mm-hmm.
And the boy drops all this medicine, and Moyeon identifies the boy as having measles and tells Shijin that they have to go to this boy's village to contain it before it spreads, because measles are super contagious, and if they're not treated, many of these children will die or get severely hurt from it.
Mm-hmm.
So we cut to that whole thing is happening, and it's like super intense. All of a sudden, we're dealing with sick kids again.
Yeah.
Then we cut to Myungju, who's waiting outside, and Saryong comes, and he tells her what happened, and she can't believe it. And she's so happy, super giddy. She's like jumping up and down, like, "Are you serious? Is this for real?" And I love that scene so much because she looks so cute.
I
She's
know.
so excited.
This is like the happiest we've seen him.
Yeah. I did note, though, that she didn't kiss him. And I feel like if I had been in that situation, I'd be like, "Oh my God, come here."
They don't even like...
They don't hold hands, they don't
Yeah.
hug, they don't do anything. Like, they're standing like 3 feet away from each
Uh-huh.
other talking. But like, she's still really giddy, she's excited. And then she stops and she's like, "Does my dad have cancer? Is he terminally ill? Like, should I go talk to him? Should I call him? What should I do?"
Uh-huh.
And he hasn't told her the whole situation of like what this all entails and what this means or whatever. Because she's super excited. She runs off to go and talk to her dad. And he kind of just watches after her and is smiling. Like, he seems overall, I think, happy with his decision. Like, I'm sure he's kind of like, "Oh, this is shitty.
Yeah.
And I don't want to leave my job." But I think also he really likes seeing her happy. And
Yeah.
obviously being with her.
Totally. And I guess, like, the good part is, like, I mean, I think Daeyoung is a soldier at heart, I suppose. But it's not like he would be left out in the cold. Like, he's gonna have another job.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, like, working for the family company doing God knows what is not gonna be as fulfilling.
Yeah, not nearly as exciting and, like, action-driven.
Yeah. But then we cut back to see Moyeon and Shijin arriving at the kids' village, and Shijin has been in contact with the people back at the base, but at this point the radios aren't really working. But we see the soldiers, like Daeyoung and Snoopy and all those guys at the base, tracking their car's GPS. So if you look at the map, it kind of looks like they're off the grid, just like nowhere. And so Daeyoung is like, "We need to get Dr. Daniel up in here."
Dr. Daniel, he does it all. He knows it all.
He's a wonderkind.
Mm-hmm.
He's the best.
Mm-hmm.
So the people in the village round up all the sick kids, and they're just like laying on towels, which is really sad. And like,
Yeah, I noted, like, 2 of them look like they were straight up dead.
I know.
Like, as it's panning, there's some that are farther back, and there's 2 that are just, like, laying there pale as shit with the measles bumps everywhere.
I know.
And their eyes are just glazed over.
Yeah.
Like, are they alive? They just have these dead kids laying with the sick live ones.
It's like, the show, like, fucking blurs blades, but they'll be like, "Nope, you want to see some fucking, like, blood spurt or some, like, super sick kids? Because we'll show you."
Some gray pasty kids. So bad.
I know. This is why you need to vaccinate
Mm-hmm.
fucking kids so you don't get measles.
And spread them.
I know. Side note, there's a lady I follow. Her name is Caroline Hirons. She's like a skincare guru in the UK. And I think her, like, oldest son got measles.
God.
And he was, like, vaccinated and everything, but just, like, he
Yeah,
happened...
because somebody else.
Yeah. And he, like, I think he straight up almost died. And the doctor was telling her, like, if he hadn't been, like, 25 and in super good shape, like, it probably would have killed him.
And vaccinated.
Yeah.
Like, had he not been... Like, he still got it, but...
Yeah.
I'm sure that helped him a lot.
Yeah, because he had to, like, stay in the hospital and be, like, quarantined. I know, like, fucking people.
Idiots. People having kids that should not have kids.
Definitely.
I'm sorry, but fuck.
Anyway, back to the
actual podcast here.
Okay, back to the sick kids in here. So Mo-yeon is trying to communicate with the people in the village, and her and Shijin are asking, like, how long they've been sick, what's the situation, but no one is answering them. And Mo-yeon is like, do they not understand us? What's going on? So then the girl who was brushing her hair earlier shows up and speaks to them in English, and she says that no one is replying because they won't get food if they speak to strangers. So Mo-yeon tells her that she needs to give all the kids checkups because some of the kids have measles and they need to be treated or they'll die or become disabled. So the girl responds that it's better to die than to live there because when they grew up...
Really fucked up for a kid to say, like,
I know.
fuck.
That girl can't be older than, like, 15, right?
Yeah.
Like, she looks really young. So, so when the boys grow up, they have to join the gang, and then the girls are sold off to pimps, and today is her turn.
Yeah, it's
so
terrible.
fucking sad. I know, like, again, this show, like, you feel really happy, and then it's like...
It cuts to this.
I
God.
know. You know. They're like, you want to feel really sad now?
Myungju and Seo-young are together. Yay! Now listen to these kids.
I know. Now listen to this teenage girl about to be sold. So, she tells them that she'll cooperate with them, but on one condition, they have to, like, get her out of the
She's
village.
smart.
Yeah.
Smart girl.
So, then we cut back to Dr. Daniel explaining to the rest of the Alpha team that Shijin and Mo-yeon are at a, quote, phantom village, which is basically, like, a little traveling village. The war orphans gather together and they kind of take care of each other, like a little family. But when the gangs find them, they take the kids hostage and they kidnap them for human trafficking. And the reason it's a phantom village is because they, like, change locations every 2 days.
So they can't be found.
Right. So then Daeyoung gets in touch with Shijin to explain everything. But then Shijin Shijin sees August and he tells the Alpha team, like, you'll need to hurry the fuck up because, like, it's about to go down. So then he runs back to Mo-yeon, who doesn't know who August is. And she goes up to him, and she's like, are you these kids' guardians? Like, they have measles, and you need to deal with this. But then Shijin runs up in front of her, like a little knight, and he tells her to stay back. And then Mo-yeon, in Korean, asks Shijin if he knows him, and he tells her it's Private Ryan. I know. So then, again, August is looking, like, super fucking menacing, and he kind of realizes that he's seen her with Big Boss, and I guess at, like, the memorial ceremony and stuff like that. And he tells Big Boss, like, I think I have the advantage this time, in the super scary tone.
And, like, he's ready for it. This is, like, his moment. Like, Shijin's in his fucking turf now.
Yeah.
Like, they're in the middle of nowhere. Nobody knows what's happening, you know, or who these people are and stuff. So it's really crazy. But then, as he's, like, facing them and Shijin's in front of Mo-yeon, kind of protecting her, you hear a big bang. And it turns out that the girl in the red dress fucking shoots August. And she shoots him, like, on the side of his stomach, basically. Goes through the side of him. Shijin pulls out his gun really quick. And then the girl runs behind Shijin, like, for protection, and he gets the gun from her. So now he's got 2 guns on him. August's gang is really fucking slow in, like, doing anything, because the girl runs past him.
Yeah.
Like, they could have grabbed her, they could have done something, but they don't do shit. And then one of them falls on the floor and is trying to help him. And it's so intense. Like, it turns real quick.
Yeah.
And Shijin's telling them to freeze, and the gang's telling Mo-yeon, you need to help August, and August is, like, screaming, like, it's your duty to help me, you signed an oath, and the girl's crying and saying, no, just let him die, like, They need to leave. Like, we need to get out of here.
Like, this is our only shot.
Yeah, we have to fucking do this. Don't save him. And it's really hard to watch.
I know. It's... The first time I saw this, and I feel like the first time you maybe saw it too, like, it was so shocking when that little girl shot August, right? Like,
yeah. And you don't know who does it at first or where it's coming from, and then he falls and you see her and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, like, this show is full of surprises.
That little girl did not want to go.
No, she's not messing around.
Yeah, very tough. But Mo-yeon is very conflicted at this point.
Mm-hmm.
She's always talked about, like, my job is to save people. My job is to do what I can to protect them and help them however I can. But now she's thinking, like, if I save him, probably more people will die. Mm-hmm. And not only more people, but innocent people like these children. Mm-hmm. You know, and like their families and stuff. And so she's very, very conflicted as to what to do. And she tells Shijin, like, maybe I shouldn't save him. Maybe I should just let what happens happen. Uh-huh. And he tells her, like, no, save him. It's your job as a doctor to save him. And if a situation arises for them to kill him, I'll be doing the killing. Like, damn! And then it's the end, and we start seeing the little flashes. Uh-huh. God.
Such an intense ending.
It really is. I think this is a very, very good episode.
Yeah.
One of my favorites, I think.
I agree, because we get a good mix of, like, kissing and, like, happy couples.
Mm-hmm, romance.
And then we're like, what the fuck about this little girl being, like, sold off, and then we see Jin Young-soo swallowing diamonds.
And we're starting to see more about what this gang does.
Yeah.
What they're all about, what their fucked up issues are, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So we're starting to get a better idea as to these other characters that are highly dangerous.
Yeah, it kind of just seems like if you want illegal shit, go to them.
Yeah.
They have, like...
We do everything.
Weapons, human trafficking... Mm-hmm. Diamonds.
Mm-hmm. Probably drugs.
Mm-hmm. So, for fashion...
Yes, God!
I didn't really have a lot, but I have mixed thoughts about Mo-yeon's plaid shirt that she wears while they're, like, rolling in the hay / walking through minefields. What are your thoughts on it?
I don't hate it. It wasn't super memorable for me.
I thought it was kind of weird because it's, like, frayed at the bottom. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I look at that and I'm like, do I like it or do I not? I can't tell.
I did like Lee Chi-hoon's button-up that he's wearing when he tells Richard that you can have his seat. He's wearing, like, a striped button-up. But it doesn't have a collar. Oh, right. It's one of those that just kind of stops and it's like a hard line at the top. But I like those types of shirts a lot.
I do too. Yeah, Lee Chi-hoon is like one of the best dressed characters
absolutely
on the show. That's why it was such a big deal
when he wasn't coordinating.
Yeah, he's not coordinating and he's worn the same 3 pairs of shoes. Or
same
pair of shoes for 3 days.
I wonder how big his suitcase was upon arrival.
I know.
To have 3 pairs of shoes in there. And to color coordinate your outfits. Like, yeah. I wonder what he brought.
I know. Like, fucking Mo-yeon wasted a bunch of space with her candle. Like, I still can't get over that she brought a candle on, like, a mission trip.
She thought she needed light.
I know. And, like, they smell good, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
So, I guess that brings us to the You Are My Everything moment.
I love you.
I love you. I will always love you.
I love
you. And mine has to be when Shijin kisses Mo-yeon at the gas pump. Problematic, maybe, but it's like so sweet to me because I think at that point it's just like pure like love / lust, I guess, because they're just, like, 2 super attractive people, and he just, like, wants to kiss her at this point. Like, I think, you know, at this point in the story, it seems like they're on their way to becoming, like, an item. Yeah. And so, it's just, like, just be together. And then they get to, like, I don't know, I don't know. I just I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I really liked that scene, just the way it looked, and then I just kind of got like goosebumps, like, ooh, that was really cute. So that's my I love you moment.
For me, it's Myung-ju and Seo-young and things getting finally situated and everything has basically aligned at this point. They were very excited. They both had their happy moments. And I just loved seeing that. And that scene made me teary-eyed, just like, oh my god, finally. Finally.
I know, because you're like a big Myung-ju and Jae-young head. Yeah.
I am. I love them.
I love everyone.
Yeah, everyone's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Except for Richard.
No, fuck
in
that.
August.
In August.
And I also noticed that one of August's henchmen, the one who was driving that van.
Oh, the UN worker?
Yeah. That guy kind of looks like a weird version of Milo, last name I can't pronounce, who was on Heroes and Gilmore Girls.
Oh, Ventimiglia?
Yeah, who's a very pretty guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's super handsome.
He's super handsome.
And this guy looks like a weird, like, B-universe version of him.
I noticed his look. Because I'm like, he's kind of handsome, but
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because he kind of has the Milo, but not. So I noticed that today watching, like, same shape of the head and almost, like, same hairstyle. But he doesn't have, like, the crooked mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him, too.
Yeah.
I love Jess.
Yeah, Team Jess all the way.
Totally.
I'd say let's do a Gilmore Girls pod, but someone already did that.
Yeah, apparently there was like a pretty popular podcast. I don't know.
Supposedly, I don't
know. But
I'm excited for the next episode.
Totally. I think this is. So is this where we stopped watching with the boys?
Yes.
Okay.
So today I had Andrew watching, which he was starting to fall asleep to, and I was like, "You awake?" And he like kind of shook, and he's like, "Not really." I was like, "Okay, you technically saw this one already, so I'll let it fly."
Yeah. But yeah, I think this is one of the biggest cliffhangers in the sense, like, you don't know what Mo Yeon's gonna do. This is... A man is dying in front of her.
It's similar to that president.
Oh, right.
Except that the president wasn't a terrible asshole.
Exactly.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. I think also because it's like, the president was dying from, like, internal shit. But this one, like, a poor, like, sex slave girl shot this fucking terrible...
To save her own life.
Yeah. So, so much tension.
Yeah.
And then we get to see Myung-ju and Jae-young, like, finally get to be together.
And hopefully help is coming soon. Because Shijin told them, like, get here quick.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I'm so excited. We're not quite nearing the end, but we're getting there, so I'm excited to watch more dramas.
Yeah, absolutely. I am too.
Awesome. So if you want to watch more dramas with us, also, please subscribe to the podcast and give it 5 stars. That would be awesome, and it would really help us out.
Yes.
And you can follow us on Twitter at OKDramaPod, on Instagram at OKDramaPodcast.
And on Instagram, we post a lot of, like, really great GIFs.
Yes.
I'm gonna say.
We also, if you ever are wondering what we're talking about, if we're speaking about something like super visual or our fashion segment, we post a bunch of stills on our Instagram as well.
And then we also post our little stay wets too, that just give you a written sort of definition.
Yes.
Our sort of version on it.
Yes.
Simplified, so.
Insta is a fun place to be.
Yeah.
And I think Jill and I talked about, like, maybe doing a Mask Me Anything.
Yeah,
where we wear
like
sheet
that.
masks and just talk about stuff. So follow us on there and stay tuned. I think I already mentioned, but we have a Facebook page, so you can follow us on there too. And if you have any questions or comments or corrections for us, you can email us at okdramapodcast@gmail.com. So I guess that'll do it for us today. Until next time.
Bye.
Okay, drama.